So I've been living in the Pacific Northwest for a while now, and there's something really special about this place. The mountains, the trees, the rolling clouds. Living here feels like a dream. I like to think that I can find inspiration anywhere I go. But as an artist, when you truly love where you live, you don't have to look so hard. It'll find you on its own. And this place has definitely made its way into my art throughout the years. I've focused a lot on much larger paintings on this channel, but I wanted to share the process of some of these small paintings as well. And they're all inspired by moments from my own life. Let's go back in time just a little bit.
Hey Siri, what day is it?
It's Friday, October 1st, 2021.
We're doing Oiltober. What am I doing? I'm definitely not doing Oiltober right now. Whatever this is, it's not Oiltober.
Back in 2021, I was trying to do the Oiltober challenge, and I was 5 months pregnant and trying really hard to hide it in that video. And we just moved to a new place in North Bend, so everything was in shambles. I only got like 15 paintings done that month. 4 of them were directly inspired by my life here in Washington, so I thought I'd start with those. This painting was referenced from a hike. I really liked the overcast sky and all the different greens. It's definitely one of the reasons I love living here so much. It's so green almost everywhere, even during the colder seasons, and that's the color that always makes me happy. This one is a sunset from the summer that same year in West Seattle. We were driving home from visiting a friend. I just really loved the way the colors looked and the view from driving down the hill. I don't even like painting cars all that much, but they still end up in my paintings, and strangely enough, they feel necessary to the scene, like it's a timestamp of present life. This painting was inspired by a beautiful foggy hike, and I've actually painted a really large piece from this same day. I have a time lapse of that on my channel, but this little one was just another part of that same trail that day. I thought the fog looked so magical, it made me feel like I was in a dream. And now it's framed on my studio wall. The next one is yet again from another hike. It's something I love to do out here, but it's the Snoqualmie River, and this painting actually sold a few years ago, but I don't think I'll be selling the other paintings in this video. I'm too attached to the memories I associate with them. I remember the exact day I got the reference for this painting. We were living in North Bend at the time, which is a small mountain town, and if any of you ever watched the show Twin Peaks, that city is where it was filmed. We were driving down I-90 into Seattle to go to Mox Boarding to pick up Magic cards because I was building a dragon deck, and my husband's actually played Magic for way longer than me, and he's really good, and I just wanted to kick his butt so bad, so this is the first deck I ever built all by myself. And not gonna lie, it's a pretty sweet dragon deck. I'm very proud of it. So yeah, anytime I look at this painting, I think of Magic the Gathering, but you wouldn't guess that from first glance. And that's pretty much my last attempt at Oiltober that year. Flash forward a little bit, this next one was painted probably 4 months after I gave birth to my little one. We all went to this huge park which has stunning views, and I got to fly my drone for the first time in a while, and I decided to paint the view from that flight. This one is the view of Mount Rainier from Crystal Mountain if you take the gondola to the top. I love that in Washington you can see Mount Rainier from so many different angles and locations throughout the state. It's such a staple here, and I love that. I'm also going to toss this painting in, even though this is not the Pacific Northwest, nor is it even a place that exists on this earth. This is actually the album art for Amarante's new album, Beyond the Illusion. The instrumentals are playing throughout this video, so please go check it out on Spotify or Bandcamp. Thank you so much to Amarante for letting me create your album art, and also for letting me use your music in my videos. This is a park we often go to. It has gorgeous views, much like everywhere here, and it was during the sunset which created this cotton candy sky and mountains, and I just had to paint it. The walking path was actually just flat pavement in real life, but I thought it was a bit boring in the painting, so I turned it into a stone path instead, and I'm really happy with that decision. This next one was another park close to where we lived in North Bend. My husband and I were trying to find a park with a swing set for our little one. She was about a year old here, and we found this park close by, which had a lake, and I was really inspired by the sunshine and the mountains. Soon after that, we ended up moving to the place where we live now in a nearby city, which is just as stunning, and there's a forest super close to us where I often go for walks. I've actually painted it multiple times now, and you'll see it painted a couple more times later in this video. This is one of my favorites, and it's actually just the view from our window. I didn't even have to leave the house to get inspiration. I just woke up, looked out the window, and there it was. The beautiful clouds, mountains, and trees asking to be painted. Speaking of not having to look so hard for inspiration, this one was inspired by a drive to the grocery store. I was just on my way to get food, sitting at this stoplight looking at a mountain with colorful autumn trees, and suddenly there's a painting forming in my brain. So yeah, I can't even get groceries without inspiration finding me out here. Something similar happened with this painting. I was running an errand when I saw this gorgeous moonrise over the mountains, and I was absolutely mesmerized just staring at the moon. Just there it is, another painting composition right before my eyes. It's a little bit different from what I saw in real life, mostly just the little garden at the bottom there. In real life, it was just flat pavement, and I felt like it needed something more to feel complete. As mentioned before, here's that forest I live close to again, this time painted from a different angle. I really enjoy painting little patches of sunlight scattered throughout the trees and the trail. I also love how much the sky and lighting changes out here. It never looks the same. The clouds are always doing something crazy, and during this specific drive, I was really inspired by the sky. The clouds were like blue, gray, a little bit of gold, and then back to blue again. It looked so unusual to me, so obviously I had to paint it. Once again, my favorite beautiful forest. This time I painted it during autumn as the leaves were starting to change and fall to the ground. It feels kind of special to paint the same place multiple times throughout different stages in the year. I'd really like to paint it again covered in snow. And lastly, I'm painting Mount Rainier again. In this painting, it's right before the sunrise. It was inspired by my first ever sunrise hike in September last year. Now, I'm someone who loves to sleep, and I love to sleep in, but I will absolutely wake up at 4 a.m. and drag myself up a cold, dark mountain just to watch the sunrise from the top. It's so worth it for these incredible views and getting to watch the sunrise with Mount Rainier right there. I'm probably gonna make a much bigger version at some point as well, because it was just a really special moment to witness, and I'd love to see it in a larger sized painting. And despite being physically tired after we got to the top of the trail, I felt so recharged and invigorated watching the sunrise. So these are just some of the smaller landscape paintings I've made over the last few years. I have a whole stack of other small paintings which are a variety of other different subjects, but for this video I just wanted to focus on the ones that were specifically inspired by moments from my life here. And I just know there will be so many more paintings to come that are inspired by this place because it's just too magical not to paint. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little trip down the painting version of memory lane. I'm wishing you all a beautiful day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone.